Hey guys, it's Kay from KS Anonymous, and I am back today with another episode of r/PettyRevenge. Don't throw my laundry on the floor. This story takes place this last January when I was a college student living in dorms. My dorm didn't have any laundry facilities, so I was forced to walk across the street to use the facilities in another dorm. On one such night, I had decided to kill two birds with one stone and had planned a late night of studying while I waited for my laundry. I went across the street, deposited my clothes in the laundry, and returned to my dorm. Because of the long walk back to move my laundry, I was about 5 minutes late past the end of my cycle. But of course, some a-hole had decided to take out my clothes and throw my wet laundry all over the disgusting floor and take in the machine for himself. To those of you who say it was my own fault, there were many other places they could have put my clothes with which I would have been totally fine. Like the two bins marked clearly for unattended clothes, the top of any of the machines, or even my own bin which was right next to the machine. Anyway, what this person did was totally uncalled for. I was pretty ticked, and I thought about waiting for his cycle to be done and throwing his clothes on the floor, but like a true Jedi, I must not give in to my anger. Instead, I put my clothes in another machine, went back to my dorm, and brought over all my study stuff and set up camp in the lobby of the dorm across the street. When the D-bag's cycle was up, I went into the laundry room right on time. Before he could get to his clothes, I just pressed the button to start the cycle again. To be clear, it is impossible to stop the washers mid-cycle, but you can stop the dryers. So this guy was waiting for a whole hour more. Petty, right? Oh, but this story doesn't end there. Being petty as I am, I casually studied in the lobby and set an alarm every hour. And every time it went off, I waltzed into the laundry room and restarted his cycle. Strange how he was quick to punish me for being late, and yet he couldn't even get back on time himself. At 1:30 a.m., I went into the laundry room for the one last time. I was almost done studying. The offender had moved his clothes into the dryer. Nice try. I just stopped the dryer cycle and moved his clothes right back into the same washer and started another cycle. Then I gathered my things, including my own clean laundry, and went to sleep. As I drifted off into that realm of eternal bliss, I was comforted by the knowledge that this D-bag was gonna be doing his laundry until at least 3 a.m. on a weeknight. Don't touch my stuff. Yeah, that's... It's petty, but it's pretty good. I mean, I think at the point someone's restarted the washer for me intentionally, obviously, I don't know that I would just like leave and come back, you know what I mean? Or I'd make sure to come back before the cycle ended. Yeah, this is just rude because there's so many places I could have put it instead of on the floor, and it just, I don't know, that's just rude. And I think an appropriate response in the realm of petty revenge. The revenge that got sweeter the longer she didn't notice. Okay, so I am one of 4 girls. Yes, this led to many a fight. When I was in high school, my older sister had just come home from college for the summer. She was examining every inch of her room to make sure everything was in its place. She also went into my room to make sure I didn't steal anything. Now, I did not touch anything of hers because I knew better, but she came up with something I stole anyway. She screams down the stairs that I stole her mattress, of all things. She starts ripping my blankets and sheets off the bed and begins hauling it out of my room. I come up the stairs and I'm yelling at her to stop because, no, I did not. She couldn't even offer me any proof other than it felt like her mattress. So, as sisters sometimes do, we got into a fight over it. Like an actual fight with hair pulling and whatnot until my parents came back to break it up. They let my older sister take the mattress. Now I spent the afternoon in my room fuming because I did nothing wrong. That's when my sister left to go hang out with her friends for the afternoon. That was my chance. I went back into her room and gently as I could, I moved her blankets so not a ruffle was out of place. Then I switched the mattresses back. Later that day and the next morning, I was so anxious that she actually could feel a difference. She didn't, and I kept my mouth shut. She didn't find out about it until several years later, after she moved out with her boyfriend and I told her. She couldn't even remember the fight, but as a younger sister, nothing could replace the feeling of getting revenge on your older sibling. Was it petty? Yep, but it's still a favorite memory. I think one of my favorite parts of this is the fear that she actually could feel the difference, because she knew that it was a bullcrap excuse. Like, somehow she could feel the difference, even though there was no difference, because she didn't steal her mattress. And then even after the case, like, what if she does feel the difference? She didn't know at all. That's a really weird thing to do, though. Like, who would steal someone's mattress anyway? Like, what the heck? Anyway, I think pretty harmless petty revenge. Probably the most harmless sister on sister petty revenge, though I'm quite surprised that escalated to that physical of a fight, but alright. No more anything for you. A few years ago, a close friend of mine and I got into a silly fight over something trivial. She wanted to keep beating a dead horse, and when I wouldn't, she turned to insulting my character and my overall person, which led to the end of our 15-year friendship. We lived together at the time, so when I got home that night, she was out, I started taking everything that was mine from common spaces and moved into my boyfriend's. I took nothing she should notice at the time because they were strictly mine. Here's where the petty revenge comes in. When we moved in together, I asked if there was anything I could buy for our kitchen/bathroom, and there were many things. Fast forward to a few months before our lease is up, I decide to clean house because I'm sick of things I paid for being used by a garbage person. I took everything I paid for. Candles, knife set, coffee maker only she used, kitchen towels, coffee cups, wine glasses, dishes, cleaners, bathroom organizers, spices, and any other little thing I could find. She texted me for the first time in 3 months when she got home that day, absolutely ticked and stunned I'd do something so rude. I just kindly reminded her who bought those items, told her to enjoy the empty apartment, and blocked her. She worked with my boyfriend, and she complained about me for about 2 weeks straight to anyone who would listen. We moved away after that, so we are now in the clear with having to deal with her. I will say, the stories like these makes me just really happy that I have never had to live with an actual roommate. I've had weird living situations with my family and having, in my opinion, way too many people in our house, but they weren't like people I was in any sort of actual contract to be like living with or anything like that. So yeah, I'm kind of glad. But yeah, technically if you paid for it, I know that sometimes, like, if things got legal, you kind of get into a gray area when you asked if it was for, like, if you could provide anything for the both of you. But technically, I don't think it'd be worth going down that route for her anyway. But glad that's in the past for y'all. I ruined my bully's one chance at making friends and being accepted. All through middle school, there was this one girl who was several years older than me, male, who rode my school bus, who really had it out for my Japanese-American family. Every morning when my 5 siblings and I would get on the bus, she would start yelling at us from the back of the bus. "Hey, it's the Asians!" And other random, meaningless crap, taunting, goading, and making fun of us for literally no reason. The same things would happen in the hallways if we ever had the misfortune of running into her. Once we talked to our mom about it, and she was like, "Oh, you mean Pig Girl? The one who makes really ugly faces at me every time the bus pulls up?" So we had a good laugh that my 5-foot flat angel mother had been calling our bully Pig Girl all this time. But the situation never improved even after Pig Girl left middle school, since our school's bus routes were shared by the high school. So years went on and I finally started high school and somehow ended up hanging out with a bunch of senior girls all of the time, not because of any merit, but because I was small and lonely and they took me under their wing. It wasn't a bad time thanks to these kind girls, and I had all but forgotten about Pig Girl. One day, one of the nice girls who sit with us at lunch brings someone new with her, saying the senior girl had no place to sit and wanted to be friends. And well, what do you know? It's good old Pig Girl. Looking back, I wish I had been nice and understanding. She was probably just taking out pent-up emotions from being lonely and having family problems on easy targets like my family of small people. But alas, I didn't. When Pig Girl was introduced to us, I put on a really nice smile and welcoming act, knowing I had her in the palm of my hand. I immediately said something along the lines of, "Hi, do you remember me from the bus?" And she responded uncomfortably in the positive. I had her sit next to me. I then struck up a jovial conversation with the entire table about how much Pig Girl had bullied my family and I, laughing about it as if it were just some funny story from the past. All of the nice girls were trying to smile and go along with the joke, but were obviously uncomfortable, shooting odd looks at this newcomer. Pig Girl, on the other hand, looked like she was sitting on hot coals. After telling my funny story and expressing how much of a living hell Pig Girl had made middle school for me, I finally hit her with, LOL, but anyway, why would you do that to my family and I? What did we ever do to you? With the biggest, nicest smile I could muster. Pig Girl sputtered like a squashed frog. I heard her try to squeal something about, well, there was just so many of you, and other BS, but I just said, oh, gotta get to my next class a bit early, and took off, leaving the most uncomfortable silence I've ever seen. Pig Girl didn't join our lunch table after that. TLDR, school bully of years gets invited to sit at my lunch table of nice people because she has no friends. I tell a funny story of how she made life hell for my entire family. She then has even less friends, if that were possible. So I can see why, in hindsight, you might kind of regret doing that. And, you know, from a moral standpoint and, like, rising above or whatever, sure. Like, maybe you guys could have made amends or something and she could have explained. But at the same time, I don't know how comfortable it would have been to, like, welcome her in and then later be like, yeah, by the way, that girl that we're trying to welcome into our group, she bullied me and my family relentlessly just because we were Japanese Americans. So that's a thing. You know, like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. My mom is so petty. She got revenge against a 10-year-old kid. I was a new kid in a prestigious private school. We were in 4th grade and the popular kid had just transferred out of the school. It meant that she left behind a horde of boys who had crushes on her. Apparently, I looked like her. Spitting image. I have never even met her, so I was pretty much clueless about all of this. But the boys, as well as the girls, became extra nice to me as a result. Now, I was pretty nervous the first few months. These were really rich children, and the only reason I got in was because of a scholarship. TV told me rich kids bully the nerds. But nope, everyone was nice. Got good friends, got into the honors list, everything was swell. Except one day, I got a letter in class. It started with a, "Dear, my name." Then it proceeded to tell me I was the worst thing to happen to this school. It told me I was just a pretender, pretending to be nice, pretending to be smart, etc. What nerve I had to act so cute and friendly when I was really just ugly outside and inside. I'm not allowed to eat at our class table anymore because no one wants me there. Standard stuff, really. It was signed by all the girls in my class, but I suspected it was really only written by one person. Let's call her Sarah. Obviously, 9-year-old me was devastated, but I crumpled the paper and threw it in the trash. I see Sarah whisper something to one of our classmates. My classmate walks to the trash can, gets the letter, and returns it to me, saying, "Sarah says you can't throw this away." Fine. I put it in my pocket. The next day, Sarah somehow got the entire class to ignore me. No one talked to me during the morning classes. At lunch, as I was walking to our class table, each class had one long table to eat on, in the cafeteria, she blocked my way and said I didn't belong there. So I made my way to one of the unused tables to eat. Luckily, one of my classmates saw this, felt sorry for me, and then decided to eat with me instead. I heard my name being called, and I looked to see my mother in the cafeteria entrance holding a fast food bag. She told me she was there to bring my lunch, which didn't make sense because I was holding the packed lunch she prepared. I looked inside the bag. It seemed as though she bought every single thing off the menu for me. A cheeseburger, spaghetti, fries, fried chicken. My classmates were looking on in interest. My mom turns to them and smiles. She tells them she has a surprise for them. She goes outside and returns with a box of ice cream cups. She distributes them, but doesn't give one to Sarah. Everyone's happily eating their ice cream, including me, when my mom turns to Sarah and says, "Bullies don't get ice cream." Apparently, she found the letter in my pocket while doing laundry. Oh my god! Wow. I mean, I feel like that is a master mom move. Like, holy crap. She was just like, "You're not bullying my kid." Can you imagine how quickly she concocted that plan? Like, she found it in the laundry and was like, this is not happening to my kid, She just went out, got this food, all these ice cream cups. She had to know who this girl was too. Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. Anyway, that is going to wrap up today's video. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and drop a like and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Really quickly, I'd like to thank my patrons. Up on the screen, you should see my face palmers and my crazy K's. Thank you all so much for supporting me in that way. If you're interested in becoming a patron, checking out the original posts from today's video, or sending me an email for possible inclusion in a future video, all of that information is in the description box, so be sure to check it out. And I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye!